Everybody, we are back once again. It is Taped Online Podcast. I'd like to welcome you guys back. Thank you for checking out the last episode. I got another 200 subscribers, so let's try to get us to 1,000 after this episode. Let's get us to 1,000.
Hey,
Right, and we just dropped a previous episode. Go check that out with my man Mark Schofield breaking down the Patriots. It was a great episode, a lot of great information, a lot of insight, that you won't get from other places when it comes to reviews and previewing games. So we're gonna try to get you guys more things like that. More, we're gonna try to have another guest next week, and do another little interview that way. So definitely love it. Love this. Love what we're giving you guys, and we're gonna give you even more every single week throughout the season. So make sure you subscribe, check us out. Follow us on Twitter at @TheMarkJohnNFL. Follow BD Williams at BD Williams 18. So check us out. Check out BD. Just also did a nice little podcast with Evan Groat. Shout out to Evan. Had BD on there talking about the defense. Shout out to him and all the love he's been showing us. So definitely check out Just Pod Baby this week. Check out Just Pod Baby every week. Honestly.
I'm sure
Just Pod Baby. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners listen to Just Pod Baby. Evan's a cool dude. We actually wrote together at Silver and Black Pride.
Okay.
For a couple years, so that's how I know him. And he's been in the podcast game for a while. So hopefully some of his listeners, now you're tuning in, guys, and you're gonna kind of see the kind of analysis that we bring.
Yeah, so definitely, we appreciate it if you did come from the Just Pod Baby podcast. We appreciate you. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and check out more of this. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. We got the Patriots this week. It's got a tough matchup. These guys are well coached. We already know this offense looks pretty explosive. So, BD, why don't you go ahead and get it started with the offense?
All right, this is gonna be a tough team to defend, and a lot of what the Patriots do hinges upon QB option and the QB run game right now with Cam Newton. Cam Newton is a very dangerous running threat, and the kind of things that means for a defense is when they're playing the option, okay, you're kind of put into a bind. Do you take the quarterback? Do you take the running back? And defenses have to be super disciplined, which is not something that we haven't seen so far from the Raiders. Now, in this play, Cam Newton is optioning the defensive end or the edge player here, okay? And so what I mean by optioning, it means he's reading him. That defensive end is unblocked, okay? And Cam Newton's going to figure out, is this defensive end going to stay wide on the sweep to the running back, or is he going to crash down, okay? This is called a bash play. Correct me if I'm wrong, Marcus.
Mm-hmm.
Or is he going to crash down on the quarterback inside zone? Okay, so Cam Newton eyes him. Is he going upfield? Is he going to come down? And it doesn't matter what he does, he's going to be wrong because Cam Newton obviously has a lot of experience, ball handling, and option offense, and he's going to make the right read and get the ball off. This is another example of it going the other way. He's reading. Again, this is a power read concept here. And he's reading the unblocked edge, and when the edge jumps out on that running back, he keeps it and he runs the inside power game. Okay, and none of these plays, maybe one of them that I saw, went for like a big 20, 30-yard gain, but it's going to be the kind of ball control, getting the team into 2nd and 4, 2nd and manageable. Even this play right here was on a 3rd and 9, and Cam Newton gained 9 yards on it. So, they can do a lot. And then what happens when the QB is such a threat to run it, he also has his own package of plays down here in the red zone. And everyone saw this play that he ran against Miami. He had, he extended his touchdown record, 59 rushing touchdowns for a quarterback. That's most all time.
Yeah.
But I want people to see here. He's watching this safety, and he's going to send the running back in what's called a smoke motion. And when he sees that safety gets out of there, he knows he's got 4 blockers against 4 defenders. So he knows if he takes the ball there, there's no extra man to account for him as a runner, and he's got the numbers on his side. Now, let's check the backside of this play here, okay? We got 3 blockers on 4 Dolphins here, but this safety, okay, this is the safety that left with the motion. And if this safety had stayed on that side, Cam Newton would have thrown the screen this way. So it presents a lot of problems at the goal line here. They have a lot of creative ways to attack you, and it all hinges upon the QB run game.
Yeah, and Josh McDaniels is a great play caller too. That's a big factor for this week. And Mark was talking earlier about how he's so good against cover 3, and the Raiders have been running a ton of cover 3. So it's gonna be a tough game for the defense. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was he was good against cover 3.
Yeah.
So but let's talk about the passing game here.
Okay.
Let's talk about the passing game. 42.7% of all of Cam Newton's passing yards have gone to Julian Edelman so far this year through 2 weeks. Okay. And then 30% of his attempts have gone to Julian Edelman. 30% of attempts is a huge market share, right? That's probably, it's got to be leading the NFL in terms of market share right now. The passing game, it lives and dies on Julian Edelman's shoulders, okay? And a lot of this is Julian Edelman. A lot of this is play calling. They're going to move him around. He's in this one, he's, reading where the defender is. He's going over the top of him on that over route. They're going to motion him down. And, Cam Newton, he's obviously most comfortable throwing right now to Julian Edelman. Okay, so even if you look at this route again, Julian Edelman is like jogging the entire time. All right, and Cam Newton's like, no, I'm just gonna go to him. You see what I'm saying? So it had nothing. That really had nothing to do with Julian Edelman except for maybe him running to a soft spot in the zone.
Yeah,
but he is a lethal route runner. I mean, this guy's like Hunter Renfrow on steroids. Okay, guys. So this is a really sick route right here. It's a stick nod. He's looking inside, and he manipulates that defender with his eyes. Gets
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams to bite on that. Right. Yikes. He gets Jamal Adams to bite on this when he turns and looks at the quarterback. Jamal Adams jumps it and turns into a seam instead for a huge gain. And honestly, Julian Edelman was making Jamal Adams look like a rookie out there.
Yeah, they saw a matchup that they could expose. And
right.
Yeah, so I expect to see a lot of those over routes that you showed too this week.
Off of play action, especially.
Off play action, and especially with the Raiders playing cover 3. One concept that Josh McDaniels loves to run against cover 3 is the curl wheel, which is the inside receiver, the slot receiver runs a wheel. Then he, of course, there's a curl on the outside, and that kind of puts the cover 3 corner in a bind. If he drops, go curl. If he stays with the curl, you go wheel, and then it kind of puts the flat defender in a bind. I expect to see that too this week, especially with the coverages the Raiders are playing. Yeah. Unless the Raiders want to play mind games, in which they might have to. If they go too high a little bit more this week and kind of surprise them, I think that might be the better way to go about this. But
you cannot go too high against Cam Newton. That running threat, that running.
Yeah, that's true. You're right about that. You're right.
Put a safety in the box, and it's a numbers game. This is going to be the biggest test by far so far for the Raiders.
Yeah.
And when you look at like New Orleans is like one of the most penalized teams so far through 2 weeks. The only team that has less penalties in the NFL is the Patriots. So they're not gonna beat themselves the way New Orleans, kind of did, right? So they're gonna be disciplined, and then the type of rushing attack that Cam Newton brings, the options, the QB runs, you have to be so disciplined as a defense. And we've seen things like Max Crosby has been guilty of it, Clinton Ferrell's been guilty of it, where they're jumping inside, trying to make a big play, and then the quarterback or the running back bounces out. Now that you have a QB run, it could go to a running back. It could go, the QB could keep it. You have to be even more disciplined, right? So it's going to be a huge task. And, right, the Raiders are going to have to go single high because they're going to need an extra guy in the box just to contend with all that.
When's the last time the Raiders played somebody like Cam Newton that could move? I know they played Lamar Jackson. That was 2 years ago.
Right.
But
Well, they had an interesting way of handling Deshaun Watson. Leading up to that game, Deshaun Watson had a similar package, right?
mhm,
Um, short yardage situations and goal line where they would do some option and QB run design things.
yeah,
Okay? And I think the Raiders actually did a solid job of that. I should I'll go and I'll upload that and see if I can gain any insight. But they did go a lot of single high in those situations. I think third and short and second and short situations. Paul Gunther ran 75% cover one concepts last year.
okay,
So we'll see if it morphs into cover three this year or they stay in cover one. We're going to find out.
okay,
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a cat and mouse game regardless, because even if the Raiders do initially come up with something that maybe slows down, Josh McDaniels, he's going to, add a little wrinkle in there, add a layer in there, and it's going to be on Paul Gunther to adjust and back and forth, back and forth. So that's going to be a fun game inside the game to watch.
yeah. I agree with that. So it's gonna be interesting for the defense, man. They got to show up. They got to have a good game plan. They can't play like they played last week, or the Raiders are gonna be in trouble. That's all I know. So, all right. So let's go over what the defense looks like for the Patriots. Let's go ahead and check that out. All right. So I really feel like the game plan for the Raiders this week is that they have to run the ball. The Patriots have given up more than 4 yards per carry both games. That was against the Dolphins, who don't have a really exciting run game. That was against the Seahawks last week, but they gave up 154 yards rushing, right? And without Russell Wilson, it's still 4.6 yards per carry. So the focus for the Raiders this game, they got to run the football. There's no other way around it. They got to try to find a way to keep grinding. The weak spot for this Patriots defense is the linebacker core. So they have to try to attack these linebackers. They have to keep running. The line has to show up and run block well. We've been talking about how they've been struggling a little bit with run blocking. I think they've been struggling a little bit more with power than they have with outside zone. So I expect to see a lot of outside zone this week, because that is what the Seahawks were able to have success with, is a lot of outside zone. You see some of these runs that they had a lot of success with that, right? So here's an outside zone run that I really liked. I want you to watch number 72 here, which is the right tackle, and watch number 68, Damian Lewis, who's was out of LSU, is one of those big boys that helped them have one of the greatest offenses that we ever seen. And watch how these boys work on the outside zone, and then you'll see exactly how they're able to drive on these, get up to the second level and get pushed against this defensive line. Now, one thing that the Raiders will see a lot on Sunday is a lot of 3-3-5, and you kind of already see this, right? You see there's 1, 2, 3 linemen. You got a little bit of outside linebackers here, right? And then you got a 1 DB here. So a little bit of a 3-3-5. You'll see a little bit more on Sunday from the Patriots, but you'll also see a lot of 4-3 defense. You'll see a lot of good stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. Go ahead.
50 is a linebacker or a lineman?
He's a lineman. He's a defensive lineman.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, they're running almost like the tight front. This is the same thing that they ran against the Rams in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and you're going to see a lot of that this week, especially against the Raiders. And
it takes away outside zone.
Exactly, but it didn't this week. So that's why I expect a lot of it. It didn't work. So they're trying to take away outside zone, but Chris Carson's not Josh Jacobs either, too. So that's another thing. But Chris Carson's he's a good back, but he's not Josh Jacobs. I'm going to point that out too. All right. So let's go ahead and run this one. As you see, got a good seal block from 68 on Chase Winovich, right? Got the guys coming on the backside as well. We got good blocks on the backside. We got 72 coming up to 51. We got Greg Olsen right here. He's got 52. This is a great blocked up outside zone. Chris Carson hits that hole, gets a good gain of 7. So I run that back a little bit. Watch one more time. Great outside zone work here. Good blocking from the tight ends. You got good blocking from the wide receivers. And that's what I'm saying. Josh Jacobs is a lot more decisive on outside zone than Chris Carson is here. I think Chris Carson hesitated a little bit, and he kind of missed a big hole. If you go back a little bit, let's watch Chris Carson, right? You see how he kind of stopped, right? And I think, maybe he was a little freaked out by 21. Maybe he thought 21 was coming, but he should have been a little bit more decisive, get right to that hole. I expect Josh Jacobs to do that and be a little more decisive there. Okay. Right? So with the run game, I really expect a lot of good runs. I expect them to stick with it, and I expect them to be successful with the run game. And I think if the run game is successful, they're going to be successful everywhere else, be able to match things up with play action and all that good stuff. But let's talk about the Patriots defense. All right? Let's talk about the secondary mostly here. The secondary is special. They got special guys all around. I mean, the Cordy brothers, they're good. They got some good corners, some like Joanne Williams. I think he's from Vanderbilt, if I'm correct.
Vandy, yeah.
He's a good player. Yeah, he's from Vandy, right? He's a good player. Of course, you got Stephon Gilmore. He's the best corner in the NFL.
Right.
And they're pretty stacked. And then they bring down Kyle Duggar. He's a small school prospect. And they do a lot of great things in the secondary, all right? And they were mostly played cover one.
A lot of cover one.
Yeah, a lot of cover one, right? But with Bill Belichick, we don't know exactly what they're going to do every single week. I mean, they're very diverse. Who knows what he's going to do? I mean, he's going to play to their personnel. He's going to play to stop Darren Waller. Now, on the previous episode, when I was talking to Mark Schofield, he made a good point about how they're going to stop Darren Waller is they're going to put Joanne Williams on him on first and second down. He said on third and longs, they probably put Stephon Gilmore on him. So, and we're going to watch a little Stephon Gilmore, and I'm going to point out a couple things about him, how special he is. But I on this first, just letting it run, just seeing some of these things that they do, like Devin McCourty, they're playing, a little bit. They switched to cover 3 there, right? And Devin McCourty, he's taking it to the house because he's in the right position. If they're coached well, they're going to be in the right position in the secondary. They're not going to miss, have missed assignments that much. They're so well coached that he's able to pick off his pass because he's right in the perfect position. So he can pick it off. He's taking it back to the house because right where he's at, right? He probably would have made that tackle. It would have been a short game. But since Greg Olsen dropped it, he's able to pick it off, take it to the house. They get some points, right? Now, one thing I do want to break down here is the wheel routes from running backs that the Seahawks were running last week. And they ran this a couple times. Now, this is the first one where it didn't end up being a touchdown. But what we're going to see on the left side, you're going to see basically all verts. You're going to see 2 verticals. You're going to see a vertical from Greg Olsen, which is the original read that Russell Wilson wants on this play. He wants Greg Olsen over the middle, right? And then he's supposed to come to Chris Carson second, coming from the wheel. And then, of course, you got Tyler Lockett outside. And then you got David Moore as a check down who's coming across on kind of a jet sweep motion. So let's go ahead and run this real quick. And the coverage you see, they kind of rotate. So they kind of showed a little bit, maybe too high. Is it going to be too high? I don't know. Russell really doesn't know pre-snap. They really didn't show what they were going to do. But after the snap, they do show a little bit too high, right? It's pure, basically cover 2. Linebacker, he drops enough. He takes away Chris Olsen. But what you're about to see here is how Chris Carson is wide open out of the backfield. Just hand up, wide open. I really don't know why Russell Wilson doesn't throw it to him. Maybe he feels like this Dave, he's going to get there if he throws it. That's my guess, but I have no idea why he didn't throw this ball.
What a great call! What a great call against that coverage too.
I know, isn't it? I mean, Brian Schotty was cooking, bro. Brian Schottenheimer gets a lot of crap from his fan base, but he was cooking this game. I don't care what anybody else says, but that's a great play call, and I think the Raiders have to look to these wheels, right? And they ran a similar play, kind of like this, against the Lions with, Jalen Richard coming out of the backfield on the wheel. And they have these opportunities. Now, Russell Wilson checked this down, and that's fine. But later on in the game, they came back to that, to the same kind of concept, and they hit it, right? And they got a touchdown out of it. So the wheel route with kind of these linebackers and their speed, and that's the weakness, like I said, it's going to be there. So John can't get away from it, right? So let's watch this play here. This is just Stephon Gilmore. I'm just going to let this run. I'm not going to do a full break. You'll see the sluggo at the top, and just watch this dude just beast, man. Just like play the sluggo. It's just nasty.
Hips.
Nasty how he plays the sluggo, bro.
Hips. Man, that guy can move.
and we talk about Metcalf's route running, and I mean that wasn't the best slogan in the world, but just to watch him stay with him like that is just nasty. That's how you play a slugger route. That's textbook, right? That's just textbook stuff. And Gilmore at the top again, they were able to hit on this one. They went to the other side, and this McCourty played this well too on this play, right? And there's going to be deep shots, right? So this is basically kind of a double move on both sides. So you see DK Metcalf try to do a double move, and then at the bottom you got David Moore do a double move who wins. Basically see the double move there. He wins a little bit, wins at the catch point, touchdown. Great throw from Russell Wilson as well. But watch Stephon Gilmore at the top. I just got to show you Stephon Gilmore on this double move at the top, man. He's just so special. And that's just why they're probably going to put him on Darren Waller on third down. Like, that was just nasty. Like, DK Metcalf had no shot. And DK Metcalf runs a 4. I mean, he beat him a couple times in this game, but right there, just the way he played that, it was just he's a special player. Special player. So the Raiders probably have to throw to McCourty a little bit more, throw at McCourty a little bit more like the Seahawks did.
Well, what I'm most concerned about is the way that Bill Belichick schemes pressures.
Yeah.
And, works this defensive line and these linebackers. I know you're saying that they're, maybe the linebackers are the weakness of the team. Like, all their linebackers left last year, right? They're, like, signed to different teams, or, like, Dante Hightower got hurt. But, if anyone can make it work, it's Bill Belichick, A, and B, they do such exotic things. They do things that no one else even attempts in the NFL. Like, they're going to have a DB play linebacker like 50% of the game, right? It's going to be Kyle Duggar. It's going to be that number 21 guy. And then when you have that speed in there, when they're sending blitzes and things like that, those guys are moving at a different pace than a regular linebacker would. They just do so much exotic stuff inside. Especially like when it gets to third and longs, when they're trying to rush the passer. I'm a little concerned with how Simpson is going to be able to pick that up, right? Denzel Good, or is it Sam Young? Is it Denzel Good? That kind of stuff. That's what concerns me probably the most. But I completely agree with you. We got to run the ball at them.
Yeah. So I mean, they're going to be scheming up a lot of blitzes. It's going to be interesting how they play Waller. That's going to be the most interesting part. Like I said, Mark was talking about putting Joanne Williams on him and then putting Stephon Gilmore on him on third down, which I think it's super interesting, which I could really see them doing that.
What I'm interested in, well, first of all, the way that I understood the Patriots defense is that they would double the best receiver on the other team, and then put Stephon Gilmore on the second best wide receiver on the other team. And that way, like, basically the top two receiving threats are canceled out, right? But they might also feel like, they don't need to worry about Brian Edwards and Nelson Aguilar that much, right? And Darren Waller is the guy. So, I agree that would be interesting to see. And the other thing I was going to say about that is when Joanne Williams came out, like, that was like the thing. Is this like the new breed of DB whose job it is to play man on tight ends? Because he was so, like, what is he, like 6'4"?
Yeah, he's long,
right?
Yeah.
So I think that'll be interesting to see. I will say Demario Davis had a better time covering Darren Waller than Malcolm Jenkins did. And Demario Davis is bigger, right? So it might be some of that, not just getting pushed around at the top of the route and stuff like that. The length that he has, and Joel Williams has that in spades. But he is still a young player, relatively young player. So it'll be a fun little cat and mouse game between Gruden. If he sees an unseasoned DB out there, they're gonna attack that guy.
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting, but the example you used was like Zach Ertz. So I think it's more about like Bill might feel comfortable with the outside receivers enough that he could put Gilmore on him.
Right.
So I think that's kind of the thought process a little bit.
Yeah.
But to me, the focus should here, the Raiders, they should be running the ball like 30 times this week, like 30, 35 times, like combined, like with Jacobs and Booker and all those guys. They got to run the football. That is their goal this week. There's no sign that the Patriots are good against the run these first 2 weeks, especially last week. That's how the Seahawks were able to move the ball consistently on them, and they would throw a deep shot in there afterwards. So they had to come up and stop the run, and then they add some deep shots behind it.
Right.
So they have to focus on the run. I expect Jacobs to have another like 25 carries this week and kind of carry this offense, and then finish off in the red zone. And then to me, this week is up to the defense. The defense has to decide what kind of game this is going to be. To be honest.
Yeah. They have to play mistake-free football, and they haven't even got close to that yet.
Yeah.
So I'm very nervous about this. I felt much better about the Saints game than I feel about this game, for sure.
Oh, I'm the same way, bro. I'm a little worried about Cam, and Cam looked really good, and
I will say this.
Just the interview with Mark scared me more than anything.
Okay,
because what he was talking about,
go ahead.
What he was talking about, like he was talking, the way he was talking, it was like he thinks Cam Newton is better than this offense than Tom Brady was. So that's scared the hell out of me.
Well, it's not the same offense.
And like how Josh McDaniels feel like he can be more vertical and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because maybe Tom didn't like those things, and then also like Tom would put people in like you put people in jail if they drop one ball from him. That's how Tom was.
He wouldn't throw him again. Right.
So like N'Keal Harry, but like not run around right.
Right. It was over for N'Keal.
N'Keal's season was over after week 3 because he ran one. Didn't get the separation he needed, and Cam's not gonna do that. Cam's gonna keep throwing to N'Keal. So it's gonna be tough, bro. I'm not.
It's gonna be interesting. I will say this though: Patriots have looked good on offense, but it doesn't seem like the team so far that they played Seahawks. No disrespect to Pete Carroll and the Seahawks, and no disrespect to Brian Flores and the Dolphins, but I don't think that their defenses are any good either. So far.
I know.
At least they've been inconsistent. And the Seahawks defense being inconsistent goes back to last year, and so maybe it could be a similar type of performance. Just because the Raiders are also inconsistent on defense.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, and I would say I don't think the Patriots defense is as scary as it was last year either. So I think they still have some really good players, and of course they're going to be coached really well. But I think it's not something to be terrified of going into the week, expecting like the Raiders just score like 10 points. Basically, is my point. Right.
Not terrified, but I'm still not optimistic.
Exactly. All right, man. Any other thoughts? Other things you saw maybe from the Saints game that you want to call out or anything like that?
No. That's about it.
Okay.
Just excited to see this Raiders game, how they respond going across the country. That 1 p.m. start and playing against a team that's not going to make mistakes. So we're going to find out a lot about the Raiders. How close they really are. Exactly.
And my going out thing to say is that if the Raiders win this game and they're 3-0, I think they got to make the call to Earl. I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna. You're 3-0, bro. Like what else? At least bring him in for a visit. See where his head's at. If his head's not there, let him just send him home. If he comes in and he's humbled a little bit, sitting at home for 3 weeks. If we go play cover 3, I'm just saying, and we're 3-0. Just like maybe some playoff things going. Maybe he could take us to 12-4. I'm just saying that's just my thought on this game. If they win, they just fly him out. That's all I'm gonna say. You ain't gotta sign him.
What's funny about that? You said they got to call Earl. That was slang for me in college and me and my buddies for throwing up, calling Earl. That's what we called it. I don't know why. I don't know who came up with that. What's up, Taj? If you listening, Taj, I heard that from you first. But yeah, we would say call Earl if you need to throw up. And judging us on some of the reactions that we got from last week talking about Earl Thomas, some Raiders fans are going to be calling Earl, thinking about this.
I'm just saying 3-0 though. 3-0. I mean, we beat the Saints and the Patriots. You might be a little interested. Feel like, maybe this team can, do something that I might like. And we just see where his head's at. You don't have to sign him. You just
think about it.
Yeah. Are you humbled a little bit? Maybe
just say you hate Eric Harris. Just say it.
I'm just saying, man. I just want this team to do good.
That's funny. That's funny.
All right, guys. We appreciate it. You guys, thank you for joining us one more time. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you enjoyed the breakdowns. Hit subscribe if you did. If you're new here, hit subscribe. Check us out. Let's get us over 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully by kickoff starts, definitely would love that. So definitely spread the news, spread the word. Subscribe, please. Subscribe to us. So we really appreciate that, guys.
All right, Raider Nation. Peace out.
See you.